of the country's largest newspaper, Daily Prathamalo and Daily Star, amid widespread outrage over the death of Sharif Osman Hadi in Bangladesh. So massive protests have erupted following the death of a youth leader on Thursday late in the evening, and demonstrators torched the Awami League office and several newspaper offices, clashing with the authorities, deepening the fears of a further deterioration in law and order. Now, protesters set fire to Sheikh Mujib's residence and an Awami League office in Rajshahi. Let's take a look at these visuals coming in. Multiple offices being torched. Amid that, we have more breaking updates now coming in. Attack on diplomacy itself. Protesters have targeted the Indian Assistant High Commission office in Chittagong, and protesters have vandalized the office of the country's largest newspaper. So, widespread outrage over the death of a student leader and massive protests have erupted in Bangladesh following the death of the youth leader. And the Indian mission in Chittagong has also been targeted. That's the latest update now coming in. In multiple areas, the protests have gone out of hand. We're seeing a complete collapse of law and order in Bangladesh, and we are seeing another attack taking place. And this is on the Indian mission in Chittagong that has been attacked. My colleague Srinjoy Chaudhary joins us on the broadcast with the details. And Srinjoy, what we're seeing in the visuals is protesting individuals running amok, and now the Indian High Commission office has also been attacked.
Yes, this is the Assistant High Commission's office in Chittagong, in the southeast, far away from Dhaka, really, one of the biggest cities up after Dhaka. Now, this is something very worrying, because there have been attacks in the past, but this was completely unnecessary, because this problem with student leaders has nothing to do with India. Yes, the attacks are spreading, the violence is spreading, you're right. It's happened in Rajshahi in the north, and now in Chittagong in the southeast, and of course in Dhaka. What we are hearing from the Indian government is that people in the High Commission are safe at this point. And it's very important to note that the attack in Chittagong is not something that the Indian government will be silent about. Naturally, there will be protests. Naturally, action will have to be taken. But this is something we've been hearing for a while. This attack on the High Commission that happened, Assistant High Commission in Chittagong, that happened last night. Now, that apart, there have been protests outside the High Commission in Dhaka. The question is, why India? This is an internal problem. Why is India being targeted is the question. Because it relates to a student leader, it relates to a law and order problem in Bangladesh. It has nothing to do with India. Now, when India closes down its visa office, the people who suffer are people of Bangladesh, because they are the ones who want to come to India for medical assistance, for medical help, for other issues. Now, India cannot issue visas, and that naturally will hurt the people of Bangladesh. So these violent protesters, whatever they're doing is actually counterproductive for their country.
Okay, all right, do stay with us. Rishabh is also on the broadcast with us. And Rishabh, what has spurred these protests? What we're seeing on our screens are visuals of arson, absolute protests that are taking place in multiple locations in Bangladesh. What has triggered these protests?
Well, Pratibha, if we talk about these recent protests that are taking place in Dhaka, Chittagong, Rajshahi or other parts of Bangladesh, there's three things to it. A, there is a desperation in NCP, the National Citizens Party, that they do not have an edge or even relevance in the upcoming election. And that's the reason to revive and have relevance. NCP is doing what it is doing. B, there is also, in a way, understanding between the interim government and these protesters that we need to show anti-India sentiments, to fan anti-India sentiments throughout Bangladesh, to ensure that, the whole Awami League vote does not get
Okay.
polled in the upcoming election. Apart from that, Pratibha, what is very, very important when we see these protests, it is not sporadic. It is not something that has happened overnight. It has been meticulously planned,
Okay.
and it is being done to ensure that Yunus's agenda or intergovernment's anti-India agenda is further pushed, and NCP, which is at the
Okay.
forefront, gets more relevance in the upcoming
Okay, I'll come back
elections.
to you, Rishabh. Just a moment. Do stay with us. We'll delve on it further. Joining us on the broadcast is Major General Shashi Asthana. Thank you for joining us, Major General. We are seeing arson protests breaking out in Bangladesh, but the Indian Assistant High Commission office has also been attacked in these protests.
See, Yunus, from the time he has taken over, certainly he has pushed the anti-India agenda, and he has been planted there for a purpose. And that purpose, I think, is to somehow strategically align Bangladesh in a manner that it is uncomfortable to India, as well as maybe uncomfortable to China as well, because that is how and pro Pakistan in some manner, so that there is a wedge between the two. So there is a strategic game, and that is why you would have found that Yunus, who was in USA,